JS Racing. We're in the game.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Drivers, start your printers.
To keep pace with the ever-changing landscape of marketing and advertising, let Clark Print Shop help you spot the trends and keep you in front of the pack with all your color printing needs. From business cards to invitations, menus to mugs, we can print anything you need on paper or your choice of over 3,000 promotional items. Visit www.clarkprintshop.com to browse our online catalog and place your order today, or call us at 276-889-3426. For a limited time, use the code iRacing for 23% off your first purchase. The staff at Clark Print Shop looks forward to handling all your color printing needs.
Walking and Rolling Costumes started when my son Reese was born with cancer.
So when I was 3 years old, I got my first wheelchair.
And he wanted to be Wall-E for Halloween that year. And so I knew you couldn't buy a costume to go on a wheelchair at that time, so I knew I had to build one.
My dad ended up building a Wall-E costume out of a Dell computer box.
When we were all finished, he loved it. We took pictures of it and shared it on social media. So many people started sharing it that we started getting requests from people we didn't know.
In 2015, we decided to build them for other kids because people were asking, hey, can you build them for my kid?
So we started the nonprofit organization, Walking and Rolling Costumes, and we build costumes for kids all over the nation, free of charge to the families.
It's one of the few concrete opportunities on the schedule, and one driver in particular comes to mind when we come to this racetrack. Miles the Monster is hungry this week, and we have 160 opportunities for him to find a victim here tonight. Live from Dover, it's the Saturday Night Racing League presented by M&J Distributors. Welcome in, everybody. I'm your host, Bradley Cooper, alongside Connor Horn all season long. And Connor, we've seen Adam Cabot just dominate races here, but not on the pole here tonight. Things have changed a little bit, and of course, these updates and this different car compared to what we've been running, this Gen 4 stock car could prove to be a challenge. for old Concrete Cabot?
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. He won from the pole last season, led all but, he led 134 of 200 laps. He did have to fend off Ben Baffert at the end of that race, but should still be an interesting one. I still think he's going to be fast, and it's going to be a battle of attrition, as it always is at Dover. As you look at the points, Bailey Turner's led since Daytona of last season, and that did not change after last week, considering how crazy it was at Pocono. He still escaped with the points lead over Angelo Horonis. McWhorter, Sweeting, Banks to top 5. Jeff Wright missed that race. He slipped back to 6th position, but you still got some surprises up there, like J.R. Shepard, Shinosky, Hapiak. Bryce Shoemaker, I don't believe, was there last week. He's still in the top 10 in points. And then you got guys right outside the top 20, and 18th Ferrata still not in the top 20 after his win at Charlotte. Dakota Floyd, 17th, a little surprising. Kite, he had a crash. He's back 19th in points. Ryan Shale is 14th in points. That's a good solid start for him this season as well. Kenny Kippy, 12th. There's a lot of funny little nuggets there, but the big one is Bailey Turner still dominating in the points.
Yeah, and you had Chad Klinger there picking up a victory and adding himself to the list of drivers and getting it a little bit earlier in the regular season, as opposed to we always see Chad Klinger come on when we go into the postseason, and he's just not in a good situation at that point. But, finally getting it done. He's also not in that top 20, so another little nugget for you there, Connor. But, we talk about this racetrack a lot. This is one of those places that if you destroy your stuff, if you abuse the car, you're going to pay the price. 160 miles here today in Delaware.
Yeah, 160 miles, and this is probably one of the worst racetracks for a few things. One of them is going to be tire wear. You're probably not going to see drivers really get to a 2-stop if it goes fully green. You might see drivers get the lap 40 and pit and make it a 3-stop race, but the risk of that is you probably go close to 2 laps down pitting here, so that's going to be a challenge if you go onto that strategy. 24 degrees of banking, obviously 9 degrees on the front. It's a violent transition on the exits of the corners. It's like a roller coaster. You're going up the hill, out of the corners, down the hill, into the corners. Obviously, it's a 4-corner racetrack, opened in 1969. Very fun racetrack to drive, but it's going to be frustrating to race on this track, especially with what we see from Dirty Air. And obviously, the pit entry. If you have to pit under green, if you haven't practiced that, you're going to miss pit entry. We're going to see drivers in the barrels tonight. I almost guarantee it. The hardest pit entry, I think, in NASCAR, and I think it'll be the hardest pit entry in SNRL this season. It is a tough one, as we ran here all 5 seasons so far.
Yeah, it's one of the favorites. We keep coming back to it, and take a look at the race analysis. As I said, 160 laps. And that pit road you were talking about, 35 miles per hour. You're almost going to enter as you go into turn 3. You're going to be backing up your entry for pit road, probably at the very end of the backstretch with the tire wear, the right rear, that transition. Like you said, it's very dangerous. It's easy to lock it up. And you have to come down probably 3 lanes wide to get to the flat to actually hit pit road. Those barrels sneak up on you quick, and the actual commitment cone is an additional probably 100 feet past those barrels before you have to be slowed up. So some drivers try to shoot it in there and make up that time on that entry, and it usually spells trouble. But 5 tire sets available, 3 green, white checkers, 100% fuel with the rule change here on a tuned fix setup tonight. With that, though, it's time to go trackside. Connor Horn, you have our pole sitter on the field, and it's not the name we were expecting here tonight.
No, definitely not. We got on pole Jeff Wright. He's going to be starting us off on pole. He ran a 23.275 to set the pole. And a little surprise on the front row, J.R. Shepard with a pretty darn good lap himself, only a few hundredths off. He'll start in the 2nd position tonight in his Ford Taurus. 3rd position right behind him. That's where you'll find Concrete Cabot. Cabot starting 3rd, but right behind our pole sitter, obviously, Joshua Banks, former winner here season 3. He'll start in the 4th position, as Cabot has 2 wins at this track. 5th position, Bailey Turner, I believe not a winner at this track. We'll see if he can change his fortune here. And 18th Ferrata, as we mentioned, he won at Charlotte in stunning fashion 2 weeks ago. He starts in 6th near the front. 7th position, right behind that duo of drivers, Reggie Ortega, the AC Delco number 2, will start 7th. Angel Horonis, always consistent, will run in the 8th position, I should say. Running up the top 10, Kenny Kibbe up there in the top 10. Dakota Floyd, who's had some rough results as of late, will start 10th.
Nathan Ferrata, I believe, one of the first drivers to do it in both the Challenger and the Cup Series to get a victory. Back in 11th, Chad Klinger, last week's winner in the 09. Ray Massey will start to the outside in 12th. 13th going to Nick Hapiak. Elliott Butler in the 16th, starting in 14th. Then it's Josh Adams, Joseph McWhorter for row number 13. Brendan Wallace will start in 17th, Stephen Davis in 18th, and that top 20, Caleb Weekly, Eddie Trejo in the 21.
And then this is row number 11. James Lehman will start 21st. Remember, fast short runs, but he's starting at the back. Case Lakatis in the 3 car, but 50 on the ticker, will start 22nd. 23rd position, looking to be right behind Lehman, is going to be Chuck Sweeting, who had a rough time at Pocono. Bryce Calusa is back. He'll start in the 24th position. 25th position, Andrew Telganoff, the actual number 3, and he'll be the number 3 on the ticker. 25th, Hunter Senior 26th, who had a good run last week, a chaotic run. Christopher Hodges 27th, Matt Shinovsky, who's top 10 in points still, starting way at the back in 28th. And then Ben Lafter, John Sanu, rounding out the top 30 in our last 2 starters. With John Sanu's right there. I believe I missed Max Cost as well starting. Austin Belkey will start at the back. 32-car field tonight.
And Andrew Toganoff and Max Kost did not elect a grid here, so they are off the racetrack. But here we go for 160 miles, and I do know that this is row number 1 with Jeff Wright and J.R. Shepard to start this one off. Here we go for week number 7, Saturday Night Racing League Challenger or Cup Series, presented by M&J Distributors, racing at Dover. Jeff Wright leading lap number 1. Adam Cabot has already worked his way up to 2nd position, hot on his heels. Almost called it the Challenger Series. When you cover as many races like we do here, Connor, it's 5 seasons. I don't know what the math would be on that. It's close to 100 races that we've covered here for SNR already.
We're getting up there for sure. If you cover both series, we're definitely, I feel like, over 100 at this point. But that was a pretty important lap 1 for Jeff Wright to get the lead away. We saw in 1 and 2, Cabot got a good run through the center of the corner through turns 1 and 2. Got the 48 a little bit arrow loose, but couldn't quite make it stick on the bottom of the racetrack. Clean air is going to be really important here, as is every week. Without the draft that we have affecting these cars, dirty air is going to be pretty prominent, and we're seeing that right now. Cabot not really able to close in on the 48. Already seeing single file all the way back to that battle with Dakota Floyd and Joseph Warder, and as I say that, they get a single filed out, as there's nothing quite like the 48 Lowe's car leading at Dover. I feel like I saw that literally a dozen times.
In the real-life counterpart, that 48 car was dominant. Hendrick Motorsports came out here at Dover, and I think they strung together 10 top 5 finishes at this racetrack in that 48 machine. It's just fantastic, though, and what's out of the ordinary here is Adam Cabot with the string. I think it's 7 wins, 6 wins, or something like that. We came here every season, and he just dominates.
Always gets his laps led when he can show up. 2 wins in 4 seasons. And funny enough, besides season 1, he did not lead the first laps, but he led a bunch of them. Actually still fast. Even in that 48, he's able to close pretty close to the rear bumper of Jeff Wright. He can forward the bottom of the racetrack a little bit. I think
we're having some technical issues with Connor Horn on his side of things, but I think the point that he's trying to make is kind of off to a great start. He's going to stay in the wake here of Jeff Wright, keep the pressure on him, and lurk here for a few laps. He'll let Jeff Wright go up there and lead, but they're progressively pulling away for the rest of this field.
And no doubt those top 2 are pretty good. Jared Shepard, good start tonight. Bailey Turner slipped back, or at least he's kind of stayed in that 6th position a little bit, but good Q run for Shepard. Kind of put him in a situation. I think qualifying is more important than ever in any race we go to. As, look like Josh Adams got a little air loose. Bailey Turner pretty low on the bottom there, maybe protecting from Horonis or Joshua Banks. But with how dirty air affects these cars, track position is important, and so is qualifying.
And you're watching the run to the inside. Bailey Turner got loose off of turn 4, trying to pass Angela Horonis. And it's that bottom side of this racetrack. You've got all this horsepower you're trying to connect to the racetrack lap after lap. Eventually, that right rear, from what I was talking to Dakota Floyd and a few other drivers pre-race, the right rear tire wear is going to be dramatic here tonight. After about 25, 30 laps, they were down in the 60s for some of these cars.
And that's why you're probably going to see drivers 3-stop. If we get the lap 40 under green, you're going to see drivers pull off and pit and take that extra set of tires away as McWhorter goes to the inside, makes a position up there. But I think you're definitely going to see the tires be at a premium. The fuel can't make it to lap 80s, so even if the tires got there as an 18 Ferrata trying to get third away from J.R. Shepard, even if the tires could make it 80 laps, you wouldn't be able to make it on fuel, and they could barely make it 60 laps. So I think a two-stop's going to be tough to make work for drivers. Ferrata hits the apron a little bit, so you can't quite make that pass.
wow.
Oh, look, contact. Shepard hit the wall down the straightaway, but they got away with it. You're going to see a lot of that. Wheel spin, the tires wearing out. You're going to see drivers struggling on a straight line tonight for sure. That might help Ferrata make this pass a little easier.
Almost turned across the nose. J.R. Shepard able to hold on to it as he continues to fight for this top 3. And Nathan Ferrata not able to clear out of 4. That high side seemed to work that time.
Yeah, that pass on the bottom is going to be really hard to make. You can get them loosened up, arrow loose off the bottom, but if you can't complete that pass, entering the next corner, I mean, you're going to lose that spot, and you're going to be at danger of losing another spot after that. Like Reggie Ortega right there was almost able to take advantage of Ferrata right there and get that spot away from him. So passes are going to be tough to make. How about Cabot? He's following the 48 in his tire tracks, trying to get him arrow loose. He got to look to the inside a few laps ago. Couldn't quite make it stick.
Looking back here with the 29 of Angela Heronis, Kenny Kibbe. This is for the top 10. Last week's winner, Chad Klinger, patiently waiting behind this. And you just got to pick your battles at this racetrack. You don't want to get yourself into a situation like we're seeing here with Hapiak and Butler, where you go side by side for 2 or 3 laps. Like you mentioned, it leads to that off of turn 2 as Hapiak brushes the wall. But it also leads to Joseph McWhorter. Shark in the water now. He's tasting blood. He saw the 06 scuff that wall, and he sees an opportunity to make up a position.
And you're seeing him really testing the limits of this track. I mean, he's all the way on the outside wall, and it's lap 15. But how much fall off there is, I'm really not surprised to see that. It's been so bad right now. I mean, you're seeing him get pretty good runs.
Caution's
off the
out.
top.
16 of Butler's around.
Down the backstretch. Got some front end damage. No escape at this track. If you spin, you're hitting something.
That was not a great place for that to happen either. We've seen that a lot at Dover. So back this up. It's actually out of turn 2 where he spins. But typically when you spin at this part of the racetrack, you end up getting collected by 2 or 3 other cars because there's nowhere to go.
And right here, I think Elliott Butler gets a little arrow loose off of Ray Massey, and then when he has to check up to catch his own car, Massey can't check up in time. 16 gets turned, hits the inside wall, and that's how it goes here. See right here, you'll get right behind Butler, and really right here, you can see Butler already out of it. Then he has a big wiggle here, has to catch it. Massey can't check up in time.
And that's something we talked about with the draft when we started this season. Car had a little bit of a different build, and now to what it is, you know, you got kind of that arrow loose or arrow tight behind somebody, but you can get up there and take the air off that left rear spoiler, and that's really what you saw there out of 2.
And it's not the last time we're going to see it either. It's also not the last time we'll see pit stops under caution. Remember, we have 5 extra sets in the pits for these drivers, so taking a set here it's pretty early, but you need all the grip you can get. And just looking at the time fall off for trying to look at it, I mean, Jeff Wright's fastest was a 23:48. He was already 9/10 of a second off that in 15 laps, so the fall off is severe, as we always expect here.
Down and away for the 48. 17. The 05 of James Lehman stays out on the racetrack with Nathan Ferrata, Bailey Turner, and Casey Lakatos for this next one.
Yeah, I don't hate it, trying to save that set in case we do get a flurry of yellows, which is usually common here. We usually don't get that long of green flag runs to end races here, and we definitely see a lot of chaos. But we'll have to see what happens here. If that ends up mattering, good for them.
So that's actually the 50 of Lakatos, I believe.
Yeah, it's a 50 of Lakatos. He's supposed to be in the 50, but he decided he wants to cosplay as Dale Jr. Same thing last week. Well, second start of the season for him.
Have to load that up as the proper car. We'll try to get that sorted out one of these days.
I think
we're doubling back up.
He just messed up. This will be interesting to see what type of track position they can keep, because clean air is king. We saw it at Charlotte, we saw it at Pocono, but this is a lot more severe fall off, and it's going to be tough to keep those two behind. But it's going to be important for Jeff Wright and Cabot and Jared Shepard. Whoever gets to the lead first out of those guys are going to be going to have a big advantage.
So for Ferrata and Turner, I think this is a situation of keeping the track position. That's going to be key. But if we get another caution, would not be surprised to see them peel down pit road.
Yeah, I think probably best case scenario for them, probably maybe 10, 15 laps green here, and then they can bring themselves down, get their first set, and everyone else will stay out. I think that's their best case scenario. They do not want this going green.
Pace car out of the way for the second time here at the Monster Mile. Ferrata, the command car for this restart. You've got 4 fresh tires from 5th place on back. Green flag back underway at Dover.
Oh, wheel spin. Licata's hit the wall. It's going to check up Cabot big time. That's going to let Jeff Wright get through past the 17.
He got by, but not by much. And now off of turn 2, already the 4 tires showing the strength to the inside of James Lehman.
Oh, got a spin in the back. It's Ray Massey, Stephen Davis around. Bryce Calusa piled in, yellows out. That's not Calusa, that's Ben Laughter, actually.
Already off to a rough start here at Dover, lap 20. Another caution. Second one today. Ray Massey got loose here.
What it looked like. Thought I saw Brandon Paulus get behind this. Right there. Yeah, he just lost it. Kind of got loose there. Nowhere for this. Brandon Wallace trying to get through there, and then nowhere for Ben Laughter to go.
And you would have thought it would have been the 57 of Dakota Floyd, because he had contact on the entry of this corner.
Good angle right there.
That's an excellent angle.
That
Try to get
casino
another
in
look
the
at
way,
it.
man. Why'd they put a big casino right there?
Gotta keep the track open somehow, I guess.
And Chase Elliott won here 7 years ago, but the casino lost the money because everyone's betting on Chase. Right here.
Yeah.
You would have thought it would have been from that, but no contact between Floyd and Massey. It just 23 went in there and just had no grip whatsoever.
And that caution coming within a lap of staying out. Ferrata is going to stay out on the racetrack even longer. A few of those guys did elect to come in, though. And of the top 4, I believe the 50 of Licata's came in.
50/3 will bother him to get his actual number on there eventually. I think he was the only one, though. I think we saw the other 3 stay out. We saw Turner and Ferrata stay 1, too, but Lehman fell back a little bit and was starting to fade. He's back 5th, but I think they assumed track position is still going to be more important to keep and the extra set of tires, while Licata's just wanted the bail.
Well, I think that is more practical if you're out front. For Ferrata, it probably can work for a while. With the clean air, it's advantageous. But for Bailey Turner, James Lehman, in the case of Licata, they were already starting behind somebody. And after you get out of turn 2, you could see Jeff Wright got to the inside of the 05, and it was difficult for him to even match the corner exit. Jeff Wright just kind of peeled into 3 and left him in the dust. At 18 laps doesn't seem like much, but here, right rear is probably already down 20%.
Yeah, you would think it's going to be somewhere around there, but it's going to be an interesting restart because in the last restart we saw the 17 at the disadvantage because I think it was Lehman who spun the tires, or Licata spun the tires, one of the two, and it checked up Cabot, let Jeff Wright on through. This time Ferrata is on the top, and he's actually the control car like he was on the last restart, so advantage goes to Cabot here. If Ferrata gets a good jump and Cabot can time it well and Turner is able to hold up the 48 like he wants that to happen, Cabot could get the advantage on Jeff Wright here.
23 laps into a 160-lap race. Doubled back up. Pace car's getting ready to pull off. Here we go again. Let's see if we can get him going the right way. Concrete cabin on the outside of Jeff Wright for this restart. Hopefully no wheel spin on either one of these rows. Back underway. Big wheel spin for the 24.
Exactly what I thought would happen. It's going to give the 17 a pretty good chance of getting that spot from Jeff Wright. He's already got it.
Jeff Wright had none of it, though. He said, you held me up on the start. Out of my way, Bailey. I got to go.
Turner was complaining that Ferrado was slowing down into his zone, but it was really only a mile an hour. Either way, Turner's going to kind of... Oh, car sliding back there. Looked like they saved it, but Turner did not get a good jump because of whatever he was complaining about.
Not sure who this was. I think it might have been Nick Habiak here. We'll take a gamble on this one and see if it was the 06.
Wait. Can you tell who that was?
Not quite sure. I know I caught a glimpse of it there in the corner.
I believe it was Caleb Weekly. Kept it straight, though. Cabot, like I mentioned, what I thought would happen, he'd get the jump on the top, and he did. He's got the lead away. Whoa.
Almost contact here. The 24 Bailey Turner has his hands full. Kenny Kimmy to the inside.
You know, at this point, they're just praying for a yellow 10, 15 laps, maybe even 20 laps. They just want to get off the set of tires and get the advantage back if everyone else decides to stay out and save that set, because they're not going to be going forwards anymore. Him and Lehman struggling. Ferrato's able to keep second for the time being, but these two are fading.
Hey, you're watching him fall all the way back to 8th position for Turner, back to 10th, 11th spot, now 12th for Lehman. And off of turn 4, or off of turn 2 rather, James Lehman had the run for a little bit there. He was able to hold his own, but he's way up the racetrack into the marbles.
At this point, Church trying something, trying to find any sort of grip to try to hang on to any sort of position
3
on
wide.
the track. He did get a good run. He got the Turner on the outside there, so he's finding something up there.
How long is it going to work, though? He's running out of racetrack.
He'll run out of tire much quicker doing that. I could be fully confident in that. But it's working. It is a fast line.
Pretty impressive stuff there from the 05 of James Lehman. He got around the 24 Bailey Turner. Adam Cabot, 1.9 seconds ahead of Jeff Wright. Now 6 laps led as he crosses the stripe for lap 30.
And Jeff Wright had to fight a little harder to get around Ferrata for that second spot. Now Ferrata's starting to fade. Jared Shepard's gotten to his outside, so older tires being pinned to the bottom. Now he's really going to get freight trade. There goes Banks by. He's going to get the 4th position away. Kibby's going to try to join the fight, and he does get to the outside. So now Ferrata's going to start to fade and lead positions here.
Yeah, dirty air is getting worse for the 07. He'll fall back to 7th position as Joseph McWhorter goes by on the outside. McWhorter started in 16th, up 10 positions. Biggest mover so far of the race.
Yeah, Banks and Jared Shepard, they're on even tires, but they are battling for that 3rd spot. Banks keeps trying to get to the inside, trying to complete this pass, but it's a tall task, as we know that we've talked about all 30 laps so far, but he does have more pace. He's able to get it to work right there.
So the 35 of Banks up to P3. Gains 1 position from where he began the race. Not much really going on here in the top 10. Got to jump all the way back here to Hunter Sr., who's trying to get around Bryce Calusa. And as I say that, Reggie Ortega is going to go by. Ferrata off the wall off of 4.
Yeah, he's really starting to struggle once he lost cleaner air, and he's just trying to hang on.
I mean, it wasn't worth the gamble here. I like the call if a caution comes out quickly, but now these guys are kind of fading back to where they began the race. It's even worse for Turner.
Yeah, this is when they would need the yellow. I mean, Turner's definitely not benefiting from this right now unless that set ends up coming to play, but he's back to 14th and still fading. And you can see the gap, the difference between fresh tires and, you know, the older tires. I mean, Dakota Floyd's 0.4 seconds faster than him. But you can also see how important cleaner air is because Turner's holding this pack up and 57's getting away.
Turner fighting hard for 14th position. 20 of Calusa, the 06 of Happyak. Coming off of turn 2.
Now he's got the right rear. Now he's going to be in trouble. He's going to drop all these positions if they can line up properly on the outside. It's almost like a super speedway. But Happyak's not able to take advantage. But I think Turner's going to give him the top anyways.
Yeah, I don't foresee any kind of fight here at this point. If you're the 24, you're just trying to navigate and let these guys by without getting collected in something.
Well, Jeff Wright's trying to figure out how this is that far ahead. I mean, it is 2.9 seconds to Adam Cabot now.
Yeah, Jeff Wright didn't even show up in the frame there. He was just entering turn 1.
This is not, I mean, after the last restart we had, it's been about 13 laps and he's opened up this gap. So put that 17 in clean air, he's going to go.
Trying to stretch it out to 3 seconds. But you also have to consider Jeff Wright a master at saving the tires. Maybe he's allowing Cabot to have that, second or 2 gap. Could be the difference of 2 or 3 tenths here in a few laps. I don't know. Jeff is really good at hypnotizing people and letting them use up their stuff.
Just have to wait and see if that's the case, but it's hard to bet against Cabot at a track like this. He's dominated in so many different cars, so many leagues, but Jeff Wright's had his pace here as well. But those two separated by a bunch as caution is out. Oh, big crash turn 1. Ben Lafter, Case Lakatos, and Elliott Butler.
Ray Massey nowhere to go. He gets collected in it.
That was relatively late. He had nowhere to go as leaders got to stop into turn number 1. Ooh, wow, this happened early into a corner. Oh, Massey came in late. Let's see what happened here. Oh, they were wrecking ahead.
That was a checkup here for the 16.
Elliott Butler, it's the second one he's been in, and then Ben Lafter, I guess, just couldn't check up for the crash in time. Weekly and Butler came together, and Butler slides, gets clipped by Chuck Sweeting, nailed by Brandon Wallace, so Wallace got big damage out of that as well, and Lafter, Lakatos, Massey, it was just part of the aftermath of it. That's a big hit. And yeah, I think Lakatos saw it, checked up, and Lafter couldn't in time, and then Massey just saw it too late and also couldn't check up in time. That'll bring everyone to pit road. So the drivers who saved that set, not really going to work out as far as track position goes because everyone's just going to take their second set anyways.
And we were concerned for green flag pit stops, but a quarter of the way through this race, it looks like not the case so far. We're going to take our second set for some of these drivers. Jeff Wright looking to recover his situation. He'll be to the inside or outside of Adam Cabot on this next restart. Look at Joshua Banks now up to 3rd.
Yeah, he'll be up to 3rd as he got that spot from Jared Shepard a few laps ago. Trying to look at the drivers who stayed out and saved that set. I think the highest up is Ferrata, and he'll be in the 11th position. Lehman, remember, he is on it, also his second set because he ended up bailing. Or actually, no, Lehman did not bail. It was Lakatos that bailed, who was just in our crash. But Ferrata and Lehman, they're right there with one less set. Bailey Turner just did not work well at all. He lost even more positions.
A lot of wheel spin on that restart. I think that's kind of where it started, and he got shuffled around pretty quickly. Thankfully for him, he'll be back on an even set. I don't doubt that Bailey Turner will find his way back to the top 10.
It's going to be tough, though, getting through all those cars. I mean, he's going to have to work really hard to get through a lot of that mid-pack. And for Jeff Wright, it's going to be an important restart for him to try to at least time this, maybe figure out what Adam Cabot's doing in the restarts and maybe use that later. So it's going to be time to learn for the 48 and just see what advantage you can get on Adam Cabot. And for Cabot, you're just trying to get the clean air as quick as possible and not have to battle this 48.
So Cabot, Wright, Banks, Shepard, and Kimmy, the top 5 with McWhorter, Klinger, Ortega, Horonis, and Adams. in the number 6, rounding out your top 10. Biggest movers so far in this race, John Sanu, back in 17th position. Elected not to take a time. He started in 31st here today. Pennzoil 86, trying to find his way to the top 10. Here we go with Cabot.
And not the biggest mover, but McWhorter, like you mentioned earlier, up 10 positions, 16th to 6th.
Yes. What a fantastic job. Back underway. Jeff Wright matches the restart as best as he can. It is difficult here with the wheel spin on the outside.
Oh, Reggie Ortega spinning.
Caution is out. And only one car involved in this. It's the 2 of Ortega. And he is done for the day.
That was wild. I mean, he turned into a corner. Oh, Joe McWhorter's
Oh, McWhorter's in the aftermath here. What happened to McWhorter?
I did not see that at first. All I saw was the 2. It's like the same thing. It's almost like there was oil down there. I mean, he had 2 people just completely lose grip. He had to loose the slide a little bit there. And right here, Ortega just turns in and loses it. And then McWhorter, he just also lost it. It's almost like Ray Massey, what he did in turn number 3. It's almost like cold tires. You have that little grip that you can't even turn the wheel.
It's on board with McWhorter.
He was fighting that before we even got into the corner. It's like he has a tire down. He's got such little grip.
So technically a 2-car incident, McWhorter in the aftermath, and kind of unrelated, but in the same section of the racetrack on cold tires, McWhorter and Reggie Ortega both lose it there on the entry of turn 1. That's going to allow us some opportunity here to help pay some bills. Don't go anywhere. More coverage will continue from Dover, race number 7, Saturday Night Racing League's Cup Series, presented by M&J Distributors. Season 5 continues on VSPEED.
JS Racing. We're in the game.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Drivers, start your printers.
To keep pace with the ever-changing landscape of marketing and advertising, let Clark Print Shop help you spot the trends and keep you in front of the pack with all your color printing needs. From business cards to invitations, menus to mugs, we can print anything you need on paper or your choice of over 3,000 promotional items. Visit www.clarkprintshop.com to browse our online catalog and place your order today, or call us at 276-889-3426. For a limited time, use the code iRacing for 23% off your first purchase. The staff at Clark Print Shop looks forward to handling all your color printing needs.
Walking and Rolling Costume started when my son Reese was born with cancer.
So when I was 3 years old, I got my first wheelchair.
And he wanted to be Wall-E for Halloween that year. And so I knew you couldn't buy a costume to go on a wheelchair at that time. So I knew I had to build one.
My dad ended up building a Wall-E costume out of a Dell computer box.
when we were all finished, he loved it. We took pictures of it and shared it on social media. So many people started sharing it that we started getting requests from people we didn't know.
In 2015, we decided to build them for other kids because people were asking, hey, can you build them for my kid?
So we started the nonprofit organization, Walking and Rolling Costumes, and we build costumes for kids all over the nation, free of charge to the families.
Back here live and at a live angle, looking at a battle for third position between J.R. Shepard and Joshua Banks. Banks and Shepard made a little contact there off of turn 4 just as we came back live, Colin.
It's pretty darn close. I mean, every position matters, and Shepard just had a little bit of a wiggle out of 4, and Banks couldn't check up in time. Could have been a lot worse, but Banks is able to get that spot back from 98 to J.R. Shepard as they're bumper to bumper. Top 2 are pulling away, but Gabbitt's pulling away from Jeff Wright still. You got Lehman with one less tire set, or one extra tire set compared to Angelo Horonis. He's trying to get that spot away. That's for the 9th spot.
And he'll get it up to P9. 12 positions gained. Our biggest mover a moment ago as we were watching that replay, Joseph McWhorter back out on the racetrack still, but some damage run into that car is messed up.
Yellows would not be involved in more yellows. The other driver who had no grip entering one, Reggie Ortega, out of the race, or at least off the track for the time being. It was a shame because he was running well. Very odd scenario as the field single files out back to about 15th position.
Oh, car on the wall is a 13 a weekly.
Looked like Sanu got into them a little bit. Could have been a lot worse.
Behind Lakatos here in 18th position. But watch how this car floats. And Connor, you've drove at Dover quite a few times. It is such a weird transition, especially out of turn 2 where this track seems like you're floating. The car is unloading the suspension on all 4 tires. Minimal grip when you come off that corner.
That on both ends of the racetrack. Turn 2, it's just weirdly shut. Turn 4 is just not better at all. I mean, you're literally floating, flying towards that outside wall, and it is not fun, especially when you're racing another driver.
Battle here for the 11th position. There's Bailey Turner on his recovery now. I mentioned we'd probably see Bailey Turner back up in the top 10 now that we're on even tires. He's got Angelo Horonis next in line, but it's about half a second up there to the 29.
Back up to 11th by Dakota Floyd, working his way back up ever so tediously, having to get by these drivers. It takes multiple laps to usually get that pass formulated, and then finally making the pass is a whole other thing, especially at a track like this. So still has his work cut out for him to get back into the top 5.
There's Chuck Sweeting making a pass for 14th. He'll go around Bryce Calusa, and Nick Hapiak was looking to the inside. Dakota Floyd back to 13th. Hapiak clears into 3.
Decent run for him so far, but long way to go. We saw pretty much all the Juicy Spider cars all over the place lap 1 at Pocono.
Yeah.
And being a decent day for them.
Ended up getting, I think, 3 out of the 4 up in the top 5.
See if that's the case today. Just Josh Adams in the top 10 right now, up to 7th as title runner-up last season's had a rough start to the season.
Well, you kind of get that preseason jitters, and when we start out these seasons, we have 40 cars. Makes those bad days even worse if you get taken out early, getting up in 40th place points. As Adams gets tight there off of turn 4, James Lehman's going to take it to the inside. Looks like the 05 a little bit better off now, a little more confident with that extra set in the pits.
Yeah, out of drive.
So some technical issues, but we're trying to get through this, and you're watching this battle here for 7th position. Lehman able to clear off the corner. You have the 07 of Nathan Ferrata now on offense. A driver that has a victory in both the Challenger and the Cup Series. His confidence level through the roof here tonight. We're back here to Bailey Turner. Nick Hapiak following him through this traffic. 11th position now for Turner. He's caught up to Hronis. It's less than half a second coming off of turn 4. A lot happening here, but Kenny Kibbe, he's the one that's kind of a standout in this race. Started in the top 10. He's now challenging for 3rd position, and he's catching up. He has the pace to catch up to Jeff Wright as well. So Cabot continues to lead. Now 40 laps out of the 63 completed. Started in 3rd, and after the opportunity presented itself on a restart, Bailey Turner spun the tires. Cabot was on the outside, made very quick work to get to the top spot. You put the 17 in clean air. He has pulled away 1.3 seconds from Jeff Wright. Through the field in the top 10, you can go with the 48 who had the first 15 laps led here tonight. Then it's Joshua Banks in the 3rd position. Solid day for Joshua Banks. Kenny Kibbe was trying to get around him just a moment ago, riding around here in 4th position. Chad Klinger up to the top 5. 09 looking solid here after the win at Pocono. Then you have James Lehman battling with J.R. Shepard. They're side by side for the 6th spot. Coming off the corner. Looks like Shepard's going to get it. And just behind that, Nathan Ferrata in 8th. He's had an up and down day just because of the tire strategy. James Lehman and him both were on that same type of call. You can look here with a major battle. Angela Hronis also under fire from the 6 of Josh Adams. And that is your top 10 here at Dover so far. Bailey Turner on the back porch of Hronis for the top 10. He'll look to the inside through 3 and 4. And he might just get it here off the corner. Oh, he gets loose.
Got really sideways there.
And it seems we have a better microphone than one that'll at least get us through this one. But Connor, while we were kind of having that technical issue, not a lot has changed, except everything's changed. The spread of this field, it puts us into what I think is going to lead to green flag pit stops here in just a moment.
Just with how wild this track is, though, I mean, you just never quite know if that's going to be the case. I mean, it's so easy to self-sprint here for one driver to make a mistake and cause a crash. I mean, you can never be so sure. Like, I'd want to pit as many times possible with how bad the tire wear is. I mean, our last yellow was about, or the one we went green was about lap 46, so you'd probably want to make it to lap 100, but the wear is so severe, you might see drivers pit on lap number 80 in about 10, 15, or in just 10, 15 laps, but you run the risk of that yellow coming out, you get caught 2 laps down, your race is over. So it's a really tough situation. I think Adam Cabot's in the best spot because he's got such a lead and pace advantage, him and Jeff Wright really over everyone. They can wait to pit and just not get caught by that yellow and do this one stop to the end. But it's going to be tough with Bailey Turner. I just saw hit the wall out of 4 and gave that spot almost back up to Hronis.
I was just watching there with Eddie Trejo. He came off of turn 4. Looked like he was swatting bees in that cockpit, back and forth on the wheel. He held on to it somehow, but he has Casey Lakatos waiting there in case he makes a mistake, and just the handling issues continue. Guys trying to get, just one pass, one position could send them sideways. They get out of that groove.
I don't recommend swatting bees, but you can do it for swatting flies. But Trejo's definitely had a wild race so far. I think I saw Christopher Hodges get a little sideways there at a turn number 2 as well. And this is pretty much the back of the pack, 20th place. This is really all about for 19th position. And you know, if this keeps go green any longer, they'd be at risk of getting lapped as Bailey Turner trying to pick up another spot on Nick Hapiak. Hapiak going to try to come back and get this 10th spot away on the bottom of the racetrack. Going to be a tough one to do. The 24 on a mission. But this is all 7 seconds back of the lead.
Able to hold on to that position. Bailey Turner holds in 10th spot, 0.3 of a second back from Josh Adams in the 6 car. And you go all the way up here to Adam Cabot. He's on the other side of the racetrack.
He's entering turn 1, coming up the halfway. He's about to lap Joseph McWhorter, who's struggling with all that damage on the front end and about 0.7 of a second off per lap. So McWhorter's going to hope for a yellow in a pretty quick amount of time, or else he's really going to be in a tough spot trying to recover any sort of track position in this race. As Jeff Wright has closed in a little bit, maybe because of lap traffic, but it was 1.2. It's down to roughly 0.8 of a second.
Based off the lap times that we saw just a moment ago, yeah, I think that the major factor was Joseph McWhorter coming off of the exit there. Cabot had to lift and couldn't quite get to the throttle as soon as he wanted to. As you're watching Jeff Wright continue to shave that lead down now 0.7. Maybe it wasn't lap traffic. He's turned 24.6. That's about 1/10 faster than Adam Cabot.
We'll see if that changes once he gets closer to that 17's dirty air. You know, he got a buffer. Now he's catching him back up here. And now it's just the 17 and the 48. There's no lap traffic until the exit of turn 2. So they got clean air to their next pit stop, really. And that time by Cabot, and then pretty much even times. But they're still way faster than Joshua Banks, Kenny Kibbe. Really no one else behind them even close to their times right now, except the only other guys in the 7s are Ferrata and Josh Adams.
Not surprised me to see Ferrata find his way up into the top 3 before it's all said and done, but a lot of this track position is going to happen on pit road. That's going to be the execution. And again, one of the most difficult pit stops that you'll make here in the Cup Series schedule. We're watching Chad Klinger ride around quietly.
Cabot's around. I think he had an issue of some sort. I think he had a hardware issue, and there's no yellow for this.
He's stuck on the inside wall here.
This is not going to bring out a yellow unless he gets back up on the track. I think he has a hardware failure, and he just turns it left to get out of the way. That's a heck of a way to lose the race lead here.
And he's officially exited this session, so hardware malfunction for Adam Cabot. Man, what an asterisk that is for him. He has dominated these races, and he was looking to do the same again. That lead was still over, half a second. I think he was just going into conservation mode.
It might have been a little bit of a battle with him and Jeff, right? But now all of a sudden the lead's grown from 0.7 of a second. Now it's 2.4 seconds back from Jeff Wright to Joshua Banks. Completely changed the complexion of the race. It changes who everyone else is chasing. And Joshua Banks, it puts him in second position yet again. We've seen him in second spot a lot the last 2 weeks. And the task is a little different for him now. And now, Jeff Wright has such an advantage now. Without a yellow, it's going to be hard to get that all back because Joshua Banks can short pit by 2-3 laps and Wright can still get out in front of him.
Watching onboard live driver camera with Joshua Banks, trailing by 2.2 seconds, but somebody gets on the radio and tells Joshua Banks, Adam Cabot's out of this race. you have Jeff Wright to go chase down. I think it maybe kind of changes the mentality of some of these guys that were just happy to race for a top 3.
Yeah, we'll see if it changes any of the restarts. I mean, right now it just completely changes the race lead because it just gives Jeff Wright such an advantage. And instead of the top 2 being way ahead of the field, it's just one guy dominating, kind of like we saw the first half of Charlotte from Jeff Wright, where he was just able to pull away, which is obviously a race Cabot wasn't in. So definitely changes the complexion of pit stops a little bit as far as who you're chasing as far as short pitting goes. But we shouldn't be too far away from pit stops if you're not going to see drivers pit lap 80, which it seems like that's not going to be the case. We'll probably see almost everyone try to carry it without lap 100, lap 105, somewhere around there. That's a long way to go at a track like Dover where anything can happen.
Yeah, tire wear is going to be the factor. I know on fuel it could go somewhere around 72 to 75 laps is the window I think they were talking about. So you could absolutely stretch it out there and make it a 60-lap run to the end. If I'm Jeff Wright in this clean air, I'm going to go as far as I can. You have no reason to short pit these guys.
And that's usually what he does. I mean, we've seen him in this situation a lot over the years, over the seasons at Saturday Night Racing. He's able to just kind of go along, go with the flow, and keep that lead no matter what. And would not be surprised to see the same thing happen here. As he's kind of still growing that lead for the most part. He's just a touch faster than Banks last time, but Banks is definitely not eating into that lead. Banks has got a gap to Kibbe, Kibbe's got a gap to Chad Klinger. It's kind of what you see with the dirty air every now and then with how spaced out things have been getting, as Turner trying to lap the 73 McWhorter. He's up to 9th, trying to chase down Lehman, who's still running that top side.
Should be kind of a short-term gain, though, for that top side. We saw that earlier in the Challenger race, drivers that were committed to that top line at Kansas, and it would work initially. You could gain 2 or 3 spots, but you go up there and run it every single lap in a row. We saw it from Chuck Sweeting. He ran up there on the outside every single lap from the green flag, and by the end of it, he had faded out of the top 5, and he was just happy to come home in, I believe it was 13th position.
Trying to get back through the field today. It's going to be a tougher task, I would say. Sweeting Hunter Sr. bumper to bumper here. Happy I going by that damaged 73 car. Last week, Kite got 2nd. Hunter Sr. got 4th. He had Happy Ack in the 8th position. And Joshua Adams, with his rough start to the season, had an incident earlier in the race that took him out. And I think I was trying to note this about Josh Adams' season so far earlier. There's a lot of drivers that have ran all the races so far, which is 6 of them. As far as those drivers who've ran 6 races, he is the lowest in points, in 32nd place in points coming into tonight. Behind Keith Shoemaker, behind Reggie Ortega, who's only made 4 races. It's been a rough start. He needs a finish to go his way at some point, as battle for 9th is on. Dakota Floyd picked up some pace. He's going to try to squeeze Bailey Turner, almost put him in the wall. And Floyd's still got to get the spot.
A little tight there off of turn 2. Floyd will get by the 24. Race back around for lap 93.
Gap's still growing.
This is the window, though. I think within the next 7 laps, you're going to see some guys bring it down pit road.
I'm trying to look at the fall off specifically this run. You know, we last pit about 60 laps ago, about 50 laps ago, actually. Fastest lap on this run for Jeff Wright was a 23:57. He last time by ran a 24:83, so roughly 1.3 seconds of fall off, which is a decent amount. And it's probably feeling a lot worse than that in the car, because at this point, it doesn't matter what car you drive at Dover, you're popping tires at this point, and you're really in trouble. So I can't imagine these drivers are going to go more than 10-15 laps on a set.
54 laps on the stint for this field right now. The last pit lap around lap 44. It's been difficult to say the least, as we watch Lakatos end up a lap down now. 21 cars still on the lead lap. John Sanu, the next one in line. Sanu is on the backstretch, trying to race down Matt Shinosky in 20th position. Austin Belke in the 89 started and 32nd position. So this day's looking up for your 19th place driver halfway through and halfway through the field.
Number changed to pink for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, so that's a pretty good touch, but just a methodical charge through the field for Belky. Just trying to get really just some more experience up into the top 20. That'd be a solid run if you could just end up running all the laps really in this race. Had an unfortunate end at Pocono, 31st last week, trying to pick up on that. I saw Case Lacatus go into the pits. He was a lap down.
Just looking at how spread out this field is, we almost have cars all the way around it right now. It's quite the spread up here to Jeff Wright. He's in his own zip code, 3.3 seconds ahead. Coming up on lap 100. Perfect window to split this run in half now.
Yeah, you're probably going to see drivers. I'd say next 5 to 10 laps, you'll definitely see drivers pitting. No chance you can make it to the end from here, as Mank's all on his own as well. Saw James Lehman just have a big wiggle out of turn number 2 after letting Dakota Floyd by, so Floyd's up into the 8th spot. Lehman back to 9th.
It's that top line. I think it's starting to show some side effects late into this run.
Yeah, side effects are being out of control.
Ow.
Not too far up ahead of this, you got J.R. Shepard, Chad Klinger, those two side by side for the 4th position. Good run for Shepard, as I say that. Chad Klinger's coming to pit. And that was a clean entrance. That was a good entrance. That's kind of what you have to do at Dover. You cannot be going into pit entry at Dover for speed. You got to get down there. That's rule number 1, and it should be the only rule.
Weekly also following him in. Johnson News sideways down the front stretch just now.
Wow, that was a huge moment as well. Now he's in the 19th spot. I think he clipped the apron and just slid it out of turn 2, but got away with it. Joshua Adams going to hit pit lane. Don't see any penalties currently, so all good for him. Looks like Sanu's going to bring it down the pit, saying, all right, I'm done with the tires. That's my sign.
They've had enough.
Some guys have really good pace on the long run. Jared Shepard's going to get by Kenny Kibbe here. He's one of them. So Dakota Floyd passing cars. We saw him make the pass on the 0.5. His long run pace has been good. Definitely looks like Kibbe might be down a tire, or at least having a tire going down. He's really backed up past few laps. Anyone else comes down this time. Saw James Lehman come down. Bailey Turner hasn't had a good run either. We saw him climbing earlier, but now he's starting to fade, and Capiak's actually caught him back. Ooh, big wiggle there. Just trying to make that inside work, and even if you have the tire advantage, it is tough.
A Happy-Act situation. He knows that he's faster than the 24. He caught back up to him. Bailey Turner's going to do everything he can to keep that 06 behind him. Going to take away his line. He's going to pinch him anywhere he can and just make it to pit stops. That's what he's trying to do.
Lehman's on the apron. He's coming back to pit lane. He's got a black flag.
Oh, he locked it up.
So he has come back, I think, to serve a pit exit penalty, but now he's in the pit entry. Eddie Trejo just missed pit lane, I think, because of that, because he saw pit entry was blocked. It's one way to get the stall, if he can find it. Gets it going straight with a little 180, but that's going to take him out of contention for anything.
They're trying to come to pit road. They're slowing the car down. I think he just missed it naturally. I think he overshot it anyway.
Yeah, I don't think, looking at that, I don't think Lehman had a chance. He made it this past time, though, but yeah, the only penalties I could think Lehman got were pit speed exit, speeding on exit, or he came over onto the track too early, but either way, it's gonna ruin his race. And I'm kind of surprised these guys are pushing this set of tires as far. I'm kind of surprised they're pushing this as far, but also like we're saying, if you pit too early, you get caught by yellow, you're in trouble. Jeff Wright's saying, I'm not waiting anymore. You guys are waiting too long. He comes down to pit. Pretty good pit entry there. Meanwhile, Joshua Banks was really struggling. He fell off hard. J.R. Shepard actually took the spot away from Banks. Farada's going to get by the 35 of Banks. I think he's definitely having tire issues with how slow he is.
Yeah, he's going to probably have to bring it down this time by.
Shinovsky's in. I think I saw Chuck Sweeting hit pit lane. So if these guys pit and some guys stay out and they catch a yellow, could change the race. Kenny Kibbe's another one, I think, struggling with a tire going down. He's backed up hard. The 35 and 14 are the ones that are really in trouble if you look at their pace. It looks like Shepard, Farada, they're coming in at the same time. This might be trouble if they come in at the same time. Looks like they're going to get in cleanly. Here comes Kenny Kibbe to pit lane. And this one brought in a lot. Here comes Senior. Here comes Bryce Calusa.
Such a long pit lane as well.
Tell you what, Joshua Banks got the meatball flag. He literally blew a tire. He'd stayed out far too long. Kenny Kibbe, he's got the meatball flag when he entered the pit, so he had a tire go down, so it's pretty obvious to us that happened. The Capiak's in. Angela Aronis is in. This is Dover. This is the chaos you get.
Yep.
Here comes Dakota Floyd. Not really surprised to see Bailey Turner waiting this long, but he's also pretty far off the pace.
First lap led today.
And you're in a 25.5. Compared to fresh tires, that's about 2 seconds at least. Still waiting on about 2 others. Christopher Hodges, Austin Belke, don't think they've pit either. I think everyone else has pit. Chad Klinger short pit. He would cycle out the lead, but problem is, I believe Jeff Wright's half a second faster per lap.
Klinger looking like top 5 here tonight, though, in the 09, and I know based off of his strategy last week, it paid off. Anything can still happen here. We have just over 40 laps to go. Continue to stay out. Maybe some of this mix up with new tires and old tires. As Lakatos slides up the racetrack, he got into the 24 of Turner.
I think it's gonna really hurt Turner's finish if he doesn't get the yellow. And remember, he has that extra set of tires from staying out on the other set. So this is definitely a gutsy call. If you get the yellow, it's gonna be okay for you. But all these other drivers are unlapping themselves. I mean, the more drivers that unlap themselves, the worse it gets. And I don't think this can go on much longer.
I think a tire down for Bailey Turner.
Kind of sounds like it, yeah. You kind of hear something flapping, which is the best thing iRacing can do to give us tire blowouts. They just kind of go down after a while, but definitely wore onto the rim. So it takes 60, 70 laps for those tires to really go out. Which, for everyone that pit early, that's going to be a stretch on the tires.
It's going to be a lap led here for Christopher Hodges in the 15. He will bring it to pit road.
Austin Belke still got a pit as well. Belke's going to stay out, get a lap led.
Such a gamble, though.
It is. I think the best case scenario for these drivers staying out long is that the track got really cool because the sun went away. Helps a little bit.
Still 108 degrees, though, and the way it's all going to cycle through here, Jeff Wright, Josh Adams, Chad Klinger might just have the lead long enough to lead a lap. It's going to be close.
Belke's staying out another lap, so it's going to be tougher to do, but we'll see if Klinger even wants to put up a fight. This should be the run to the finish, so short pit or not, you would think he puts up a little bit of a fight trying to keep the race lead from Jeff Wright, but it's going to be a tall task. That gap is that time difference is still about 0.4 of a second. You just see the difference off the corner. Really, center exit. I mean, that 48 eats a 0.9 for breakfast, and I don't think he's going to be able to defend much here.
Help me out here. Is that Adam Cabot in the chat? I don't know if you're paying attention to it as we watch this battle for the lead. Net race lead for Jeff Wright.
Have to take a look, but either way, it was going to be a battle if it wasn't for that computer freeze issue, as Klinger gives up the spot to Jeff Wright, and that should pretty much give the 48 a good shot at getting away from everyone else for the rest of this race. As yes, that is Adam Cabot.
Dover Day is canceled.
Austin Belke finally pits. Stefan Davis came in. He's been laps down with damage. And should cycle Jeff Wright out to the front.
And I think, Adam,
Caution.
if he... Yellow flag is out. Eddie Trejo on the front stretch.
And Austin Belke's just thinking, one more lap. Are you kidding me? This is gonna... He did end up getting 4 tires. And he might stay lead lap, so it honestly might not hurt him, though.
He had a black flag for speeding.
I think he was gonna cycle out, I think, if it wasn't for that. Dang it. Couldn't quite see what happened to Trejo there from first glance. But there goes the rear bumper flying down the front stretch. Oh, he drove under it. As, yeah, arrow loose, I think, off of Calusa, and then similar thing that we saw happen to Ray Massey and Elliott Butler earlier at it too. You get that car right on the bumper, and it gets them loose enough to check up, and then you can't check up. Right there. And this will bring everyone else in for that other set of tires, except for Bailey Turner, who is going to have to take the wave around. They could not get back on the lead lap, but everyone else lead lap, I think, will take this set of tires. I wonder who's out of tires. Most of these drivers might be down to 1 set left.
Jack Klinger is in a much better situation for a possible podium here tonight because of this. Remember, Klinger had short pitted a lot.
Yeah, I think this definitely helps him a little bit. Wondered if we'd see 2 tires. Doesn't look like anyone's risking that right now. Jeff Wright's going to get out first, then Klinger, then Joshua Adams, Farada. So those guys, some of those guys who short pit really benefited and got track position out of this. I did see, I believe, Dakota Floyd stayed out.
He did.
So that'll be interesting, as he had...
About 10 laps. About 10 laps on the tires.
Yeah, about 8 laps, I would say, to be completely exact, or at least close to exact. I'm not going to do the best math in the world, but this will be interesting. This will definitely test track position, I think. See how important it really is over tires. And we saw earlier with the 24 and a few others that there was about 15 lap old tires wouldn't really hang on as well. So don't know how well this will work out for Floyd, but he figured he needed to try to go for the track position. When that yellow came out, he was in about 10th position.
And because he stayed out, Stefan Davis not able to get one of his laps back. He'll have to drop to the tail end of this field. And it will be Dakota Floyd for this restart as the command car. The Albertsons 57. To try to find a way around here. 8 lap old tires. I don't think it's enough to hold off Jeff Wright. Maybe not Jack Klinger, but it could be enough to get a podium finish out of it. And that's, you know, in case we don't get a caution. I think that's how it would kind of cycle out top 5 day for the 57. But if we get a few yellows here, Connor, he could hold it up here and win this race.
And it's definitely going to cause some chaos. Bring some drivers back into a fight, like Joshua Banks. He got back to 14th after blowing a tire. He needed that yellow. Kenny Kibbe lost a lot of track position. Obviously, Bailey Turner had to take the wave around. So I think everyone knows it's go time. So this race for track position is going to be pretty intense. And got to watch for wheel spin, as always, on these restarts.
Here we go with 36 laps left. Green flag back underway. A little bit of wheel spin from the 57, but he holds it together. He'll take the lead side by side for 4th.
Side by side for 4th, but Floyd's gonna get a little, he's gonna get a little tight, a little loose actually out of a corner, and Jeff Wright's able to get to his inside, and it's gonna be hard to fend this off, and I don't think Floyd's gonna be able to do much about it.
Now he's got to hold off on Chad Klinger, who's also at an advantage with tires.
Klinger fired it in there, trying to get to the inside, get the cleaner air immediately, but couldn't quite make it work, as Floyd's able to keep that runner-up spot for at least another set of corners.
Our way down the racetrack in the background here, and look at this. Caleb Weekly up to the top 10. How rough of a day was it for the 13 starting out? He's up 10 positions. Hunter Sr. and the 02 is up 17. A lot of these guys cycled out just right with that caution.
09 and Klinger got to be inside of Floyd. 57 hit the wall, and I think that's going to give Chad Klinger all he needs to get that spot. Jeff Wright's already 0.6 of a second ahead, and really no one's been able to challenge the 48 besides Adam Cabot today. So it's going to be a tall task for Klinger to get there.
Adams will be next in line here of the drivers with 4 fresh ones. 8 lap difference on tires. We're probably talking about a couple tenths a lap right now.
Yeah, last time by it was about 2 tenths slower than Jeff Wright that Dakota Floyd was, so I think that difference will only get worse and worse the more dirty air that 57's put in, so he's really got to try hard to defend from Adams and Parada and a few others.
Caleb Weekly, who was up in the top 10 just a moment ago, now falls back to 13th. Problems for the 13. Trying to bring this thing home has Chuck Sweeting to the left-hand side coming off of turn 2. Adams passing Floyd now out of 4.
Floyd tried to keep it on the outside, just couldn't quite do it. Josh Adams just taking that spot for himself. Didn't really have much room between the two, but he knew he had to go. And here comes Ferrata trying to take advantage, but Floyd is going to have a good enough run off of 2. Use that outside. Cardinal wall, I think that was Horonis, kept it straight, but lost the spot to Bryce Calusa, who's into the top 10.
20 car on the move, up 15 positions. Still the biggest mover right now is the 02 of Hunter Sr. And he's showing some speed here with about 30 to go. Looking like maybe a top 5 effort for the 02 machine from 26th up to 8th.
The top 4 is up for grabs for sure. It just depends on how long Floyd can hang on. He's kind of settled into 4th place for the time being. Ferrata hasn't really been able to challenge him the past 2 laps. You can tell he's got a lot more grip. He's just not quite able to use it right now. Floyd's able to kind of cheat up the racetrack and use that outside lane for defense, which is what we see all the time here. Able to run up there, gives that clean air to Ferrata. So Ferrata can't really pack air on him unless he comes down like that. But at that point, he's far enough away from the 07 where it doesn't affect him as much, and he's able to get that run off the corner.
You also have Kimmy and Shepard. This right here is what you were talking about. He got there.
Yeah, I think Ferrata realized what he was doing, so he actually went to the higher side, able to pack that air on Floyd, kind of hurt his run on the exit, but now it's where it gets tough because Floyd, if he gets a good run out of 4, he can just keep the spot and Ferrata gets sideways. That's the tough part of making this pass, and Ferrata knows he's got to go because the top 3 are getting away. It's already 1.2 seconds to Josh Adams, and that is tight out of turn number 2. And if he doesn't make this pass, J.R. Shepard's going to jump on his outside, and he's going to start going backwards. Whoa, he turned him!
And the 07's around. Caution.
Kenny Kibbe's got some damage out of that. Well, that was uncalled for, I think.
See if Floyd got loose though on his own first.
Ferrata, 57 clears him. Now he just boots him. I don't think there was any arrow loose there, and Kenny Kibbe had nowhere to go. He had some pretty big damage out of that. I think they should bring everyone down for most drivers their last set. But if I was Floyd, I would not be too happy about that either. What you think? It looked like he just got the boot.
Yeah, I think he just sent it in there too deep. I don't think he did it on purpose, but definitely got into the back of them, regardless.
Wonder if we see 2 tires here. Definitely see 4 from Turner because he had to take the wave. Would not be shocked to see some 2-tire calls. This would be about a 20-lap run to the finish from here.
Gonna have a lot of wave arounds on this as well. I think 4 tires is the call. I wouldn't take my chances.
James Lehman's one of those wave arounds. He's getting back to, I believe, 1 lap down. And it looks like it's all 4 tires. So really no strategy there. Wright, Klinger, Adams, Shepard, Hunter Sr. the top 5. And Joshua Banks is going to be back to 8th.
James Lehman will be back on the lead lap, as will Stefan Davis, finally in the number 60. These cars have some damage, though. The 21 of Eddie Trejo is 3 laps down. He'll get 1 of those back. And we still have some time here for these guys to get back on the lead lap, but it's just a matter of, do they have the car to do anything with it? Say for Eddie Trejo, after that hit with the inside wall down the front stretch, he's most likely just going to be happy to finish this thing.
Yeah, some of these drivers just trying to get anything back possible. Belke gonna get back lead lap, still in the top 20. Him and Sanu. Sanu's kind of struggled for grip at a lot of points. We've seen him get sideways a few times. Belke's just kind of been hanging in there. Obviously, James Lehman, if he could get 1 more yellow, it would be a big deal for him because all he has to fight for a lucky dog is Stefan Davis. And we know Lehman has speed. He just messed up on pit exit and then pit entry. If he get back to the lead lap, that'd be almost somewhat miraculous. I would have thought he went 3 laps down in that, but he might have, but he's maybe 1 yellow away from being lead lap.
Yeah, Timing and Scoring was telling me he was back on the lead lap there for a moment. It looks like he's still 1 down as we're doubled back up. 138 laps complete when we cross the line. 22 laps left when the green flag comes out. And it's plenty of time for something to happen in this event. We've already seen Adam Cabot, who was dominating this race, have technical issues. Jeff Wright on the top spot looked like he was going to run away with it. A caution comes out after green flag pit stops, resets the field, and we're back underway. Wright gets a huge jump into turn 1.
Klinger, if he's close enough to get that 48 a little sideways, he could have 1 shot at him into 2, and he did get him a little sideways, but he wasn't able to jump to side by side.
He did what he needed to do. Jeff Wright just chasing up to block the run. He's going to do it again here in 3 and 4.
Got him sideways again. He just can't get enough momentum to get to his inside. He's going to have to just keep packing air and hoping he can get him out of his groove and go for it. But you saw Jeff Wright, same thing that Dakota Floyd was doing. He moves up to the outside so Klinger doesn't get a arrow loose. Bryce Calusa has a big slide. He kept it straight, but if I'm Klinger, I'm seeing that. I'm trying to follow whatever line he goes to and just pack air, but I think Jeff Wright might be gone at this point.
Gotta use everything you got.
Chuck Sweeting, Bailey Turner, huge crash. Matt Janowski's involved. Sanu is involved. James Lehman gets damaged. Then it's a junkyard in turn 1. Just talk about Lehman getting back lead lap. There goes that. And Bailey Turner, Chuck Sweeting. Top 15 runners all night. They're junked. This starts with 24 and 75. Oh man, Sweeting lost it on the straightaway.
Oh, and James Lehman blew the engine. He drove completely through that.
It's still running, so it didn't blow the engine completely. Just couldn't see why Chuck Sweeting lost it. I mean, Lehman he really never saw it until it was too late. And then he couldn't see there and hit Janowski because he just literally could not see.
Let's back us up a little bit further. We'll see what happened in the 75.
Battle for roughly the 9th position. Sweeting sideways there, and I guess he got sideways out of 4 and just never caught it. And then Bailey Turner was an innocent bystander, as was pretty much everyone else. Sanu piled in hard, Lehman piled in hard twice. Shinosky nowhere to go. Big hits. Might be the worst spot that a crash could happen here, just about. I mean, there is nowhere to go entering turn 1. You got the inside wall right there, so you can't dive low. You can't get off the banking easily. When someone wrecks into the corner here, there is nowhere to hide, because they're going to come right back up. Turner might have been somewhat okay, then he takes that hit from the 31. It's actually fortunate not to get hit by the 0.5. A lot of cars on pit road, and the attrition rate, as it does seemingly every week at Saturday Night Racing League this season, it's picking up.
Chuck Sweeting, Joseph McWhorter, Brandon Wallace, John Sanu, James Lehman, Eddie Trejo, Adam Cabot out of this as well. Ben Laughter, Reggie Ortega, Elliot Butler, and Ray Massey. Ray Massey, the earliest of that, in 30th position now. Matt Shinosky, the last car on the lead lap, he was caught up in that as well in the 31 machine, down pit road now. The 57 of Dakota Floyd, who picked up damage. Looks like he's trying to get that car fixed up. 21 back out on the racetrack. But it's Jeff Wright with the lead. Chad Klinger has another opportunity as we approach 15 laps to go.
And, you know, he was doing a good job on the last restart, the first set of corners, just staying on his bumper, getting him air loose, putting him off his game. But when Jeff Wright's able to move up the track, he can get out of the corner with momentum, and then at that point, he's out of range. I think no matter what line the 48 goes to, if you're going to be on the bumper, whether it's Josh Adams or the 09 of Klinger, because Josh Adams is going to get the jump because 48 picked the outside this time. But I think no matter who's in second, you've got to just, no matter where Jeff Wright goes, you need to be packing air on him, just getting him sideways. I don't see any other way you get around him without at least doing that, and then who knows how to make the pass at that point with how fast he's been. Even if you get to the inside, it's going to be tough, but I don't think you're getting there without getting them loose a little bit.
So it's Jeff Wright and Chad Klinger yet again on this restart, double back up. 16 to go. Jeff Wright going to time it again from the outside this time. Back underway at Dover. Wheel spin for the 6 of Adams. That's going to allow the 98 of Shepard to the inside into 1.
That was a better restart for the 48. He's able to get a much bigger gap on Chad Klinger doing that.
We're going to look 3 wide into 3 and 4.
Hunter Sr. didn't like it. Joshua Banks doesn't care. He hits the apron. Not going to work for him. Because Bryce Calusa is going to get that position away. That's for 7th.
How about Hunter Sr.? He has a shot at the top 5 here to the inside of Horonis.
Ooh, Banks got sideways, almost hit Calusa there. Really tight between these 4. As those top 4 are able to get away from that battle.
I don't think we're done wrecking. Look at how tight it was off of 4.
Side draft isn't that strong here, but you wouldn't know with how close these drivers get to each other. Senior clipped the apron. It's going to ruin his momentum. Here goes Banks. He slides up to the top to get in front of Calusa. Calusa gives him a shot into turn number 3. Senior trying to gas it up, stay under Horonis, and he did a good job of it. Horonis had a pretty bad exit out of 4. This is good stuff.
This for the 5th position. Oh, man.
Sideways. Oh, almost lost it. Get Banks another run. Now they're side by side for 3rd. Shepard and Adams. Oh, there they go.
Horonis around.
I think it was Horonis who lost it that time. If you have tires left, you might consider taking them. That was a big hit. You kind of figured one of them was going to run out of breath at some point. I think it was Horonis on the exit. just trying to gas it up too early and just comes down right in front of the 0-2. And just one of those racing deals, especially at Dover. You see it a lot. When you get spun, you're going to hit hard. Just hit the wall in the 3 again. I think trying to get that thing back because it's destroyed. Get the yellow. We're at 11 to go now. Probably go green with 8 to go. I mean, if you have a set of tires, you got 19 drivers lead lap, including Hronis, who's totaled. So really, I'd call it 18. And you have a lot of these drivers repairing damage who are lead lap. I'd consider taking tires if you have a set. I don't know who has a set left at this point.
Trying to give you numbers on that.
Looks like the leaders won't come in. Christopher Hodges is in 11th. He's the first one looking like he's going to come down. So it looks like everyone else is done. And everyone else behind him who's pitting is repairing damage or laps down. Dakota Floyd's damage. Brandon Wallace laps down. Verada Turner, Kibbe, Davis, Hronis all damaged. Hronis' right front's actually pointing towards the outside wall. Christopher
I like
Hodges
this call.
Yeah, I like it too. If you have the set to use, which looks like he did, this could definitely work out, get him a top 10 finish, if not better. Don't think he'll get through the field to get to Jeff Wright, but I like the call. He was pretty much at the back half of the driver's lead lap still, and I think if you have the tires, it's the right call to use them. How quick the fall off is.
Anything for Rada in here as well.
The graveyard on pit road, all these pretty damaged Gen 4 Monte Carlos and Ford Tauruses. And hope these drivers remember you can drive in the victory lane.
Jeff Wright knows it.
He should. Him and Cabot should.
Let's not count those chickens before they hatch, though, Connor.
No,
We've still got. We gotta have Chad Klinger on another restart, and tire spin has been horrendous.
He's gonna pick
Every
the
time we
bottom
come
this
here.
time. I was surprised. He got a pretty good launch off the top to get away from Klinger, but he's gonna go back to the bottom. A little surprised by that.
Maybe he didn't like the launch he got on the edge. I know outside tends to spin the tires a little more than the inside as well.
Trying to see where Hodges came out. I think it's about 14th or so. I think he's going to come out about 13th or 14th position. So that's freshest tires in the field, and so far, for now, freshest car in the field. But that could also change very quickly.
Yeah.
It's going to be 8 laps to go.
8 to go here at Dover. That means 8 miles left for Miles the Monster. Very hungry today. Still have 18 cars on the lead lap. About 20 of them on the racetrack right now. Chad Klinger on the outside of Jeff Wright. The nerves kicking in for the 7th race of the season. Back underway.
Tried to time it and went a little earlier than Jeff Wright and had to jump out of the gas.
Banks going to look to the inside for 4th. He has J.R. Shepard in front of him.
Gonna get him a little sideways. Gonna let Josh Adams take advantage. He's gonna get that 3rd spot away on the outside, I think. Banks unfortunately helped his competitor more than himself there. But he might be able to get Shepard. He might be winding up this 3-wide move. Nope, he's gonna have to commit to the top side.
Banks looks in the middle. Also opens up the door, though, for Bryce Calusa. And he's going to get loose off of 4. He saves it.
Yeah, you get someone that close to your bumper, it's definitely going to get you sideways. And Banks missed the entry to turn 1. And he's still sideways, still trying to fight it.
Going to get 5 to go at the stripe. Jeff Wright, half a second ahead of Chad Klinger coming off of turn 4. 5 miles left for week 7. And Jeff Wright, you know, maybe a gift horse here with the equipment malfunction from Adam Cabot. But what could have been, this race has recycled several times. And we don't know what the outcome would have been, but I think it still would have been a challenge for Adam Cabot, even with that clean air, with the cautions the way they fell.
It would have been a battle, that's for sure. And I thought it might be a battle. Thought Klinger could get another good restart like he did 2 or 3 ago. But when Jeff Wright gets out of that range where you can get him off that bottom groove, he's just able to pull away. He's a 10th faster per lap than Klinger, compared to even faster than the drivers behind. His next still working on J.R. Shepard, just can't complete this pass. He drove it in hard into 3 that time.
And he used every inch of this racetrack coming off of turn 4. Got sideways. Still not able to get around in 3 to go now.
48's cruising. It's a log jam about 9th on back, 10th on back. Casey Licata said through all this, he's found his way into the top 10. And he's trying to fend off about 4 or 5 other drivers, including Belke. Hodges on those fresh tires is right there as well.
Almost a moment there for Hodges off of turn 4.
Ooh,
They're going to go 3 wide.
He's got the tire advantage to get out of it.
And look who it is back side by side here.
I'm sure they remember each other, as Jeff Wright all he wants to use that white flag, and he's going to get it.
One more time around. 1 mile to go for Jeff Wright into turns 1 and 2. Over half a second lead as we were watching back here with Ferrata in the 15 of Hodges, who's trying to get his way around the 07. Jeff Wright's going to come off of turn 4, though, with the lead. Dominant performance. Jeff Wright back to victory lane, 3rd time this season. Oh, we have problems back there coming off of turn 4. I think that was Bryce Calusa. There was a lot of contact back around 5th position.
I think just a good battle. Came close, thought they were going to crash, but they all were able to get away with it. 35 hit the apron, he fired it into 3 so hard, trying to push Shepard up the track. Almost gave Calusa a run at both of them. But little contact, no harm, no foul there.
And it's Jeff Wright who gets the victory here. Write down however you want it. It's the 3rd one of the season. 48 back on top. He needed the 24 to Bailey Turner to have a bad night after missing last week. As he was at Kansas Speedway, he missed the race at Pocono. This is what he needed to come back here for week 7.
No doubt he had the pace tonight. I mean, he had a 5-second lead at one point before pit stops. And unless something happened on those restarts, he was not going to be beat.
Back with more coverage, post-race interviews with your top 3 and the final race results here on VSPEED. You are watching Saturday Night Racing League, presented by M&J Distributors, live from Dover. Back with more in just a moment.
JS Racing. We're in the game.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
To keep pace with the ever-changing landscape of marketing and advertising, let Clark Print Shop help you spot the trends and keep you in front of the pack with all your color printing needs. From business cards to invitations, menus to mugs, we can print anything you need on paper or your choice of over 3,000 promotional items. Visit www.clarkprintshop.com to browse our online catalog and place your order today, or call us at 276-889-3426. For a limited time, use the code iRacing for 23% off your first purchase. The staff at Clark Print Shop looks forward to handling all your color printing needs.
Walking and rolling costumes started when my son Reese was born with cancer.
So when I was 3 years old, I got my first wheelchair.
And he wanted to be Wall-E for Halloween that year. And so I knew you couldn't buy a costume to go on a wheelchair at that time. So I knew I had to build one.
My dad ended up building a Wall-E costume out of a Dell computer box.
When we were all finished, he loved it. We took pictures of it and shared it on social media. So many people started sharing it that we started getting requests from people we didn't know.
In 2015, we decided to build them for other kids because people were asking, hey, can you build them for my kid?
So we started the nonprofit organization, Walking and Rolling Costumes, and we build costumes for kids all over the nation, free of charge to the families.
Back here with our live coverage from Dover, and it's week 7 that has concluded 160 laps, 160 miles. Speaking of Miles the Monster was very hungry here today. The war of attrition getting the best of half this field here tonight. Final results up on your screen in the race recap. 8 cautions, 11 lead changes to finish this one out. Jeff Wright, who started on the pole, looked like he might have lost his situation there. Fell back to around the 3rd, 4th position, but an equipment malfunction for Adam Cabot, who had taken over the lead. He led around 60 laps, and Jeff Wright was able to come back. He was 2nd in position there when that happened. He'll get the victory here today. Jack Klinger back-to-back here on podium finishes. It was just a week ago that he won at Pocono. He'll get 2nd spot, and it's back to tip-top shape for Josh Adams, a driver that was competing for the championship last year. He has not had a good start to this season, but he's going to get a podium here tonight. We'll get a word with those drivers in just a moment. J.R. Shepard in the number 98 started in the 2nd spot. He'll fall back to 4th, but a solid top 5 for him. Joshua Banks consistently in the top 5 all night long. Had to fight hard for those final few positions. He'll finish in 5th. It's Bryce Calusa in 6th position. 7th to Nick Hapiak. Hunter Sr. 2 back-to-back races here of Hunter Sr. having a phenomenal day as well. He'll finish in 8th. Caleb Wakely in 9th after what seemed like an abysmal day for the 13. And then it was the 50 of Casey Lakatos bringing it home in the top 10.
And Calusa and Senior up there, they both moved up 18 positions. I think Calusa would get the biggest mover award just for finishing higher, but Austin Belke moved up even more positions. Good 11th place finish for him after starting 32nd. That's plus 21 positions. Ferrata, after the contact with Dakota Floyd, he gets 12th. Christopher Hodges, fresh tires, couldn't quite make him work as good as we thought he might. 13th for him, still not bad. Dakota Floyd 14th. And this is really where the attrition starts. I mean, everyone like 13th on back had damage. Floyd 14th, Kibbe 15th, Turner 16th. Not a good night for him. Really never even threatened after trying to save that set of tires. Stefan Davis 17th. Matt Shinosky recovered to 18th after having big damage. Eddie Trejo 19th. And Angelo Horonis, the final crash of the night, crashed out hard, finished 20th.
Brandon Wallace will finish in 21st. Chuck Sweeting, after starting 23rd, back to 22nd for the 75. John Sanu, 23rd place for him. James Lehman, trying to save a tire set, got caught up there in that bad incident in turn 1, destroyed his car. Joseph McWhorter got loose on his own. In the aftermath there, it was actually, I believe, Reggie Ortega who got loose as well in that incident. Adam Cabot with an equipment malfunction we mentioned earlier. Ben Laughter 27th. Reggie Ortega, another one of those cars that got loose. Elliott Butler in 29th. Ray Massey in 30th. Early exit for him. and 2 cars that elected not to grid here today. Andrew Toganoff in the number 3, Max Cost in the 63. But now it's time to take you trackside and bring these drivers up into the booth one at a time. Connor Horn is standing by with your victory lane celebrations. Jeff Wright getting the victory here. 3rd win of the season for the 48. Connor Horn's got him.
He led 82 laps, and we thought he knew where victory lane was. Apparently he doesn't, so he'll just park it on the front straightaway. Jeff obviously didn't tell the whole story that he led half the race. He had the 17 drop out due to hardware failure on the computer, but you were still darn fast. I mean, you had a 5-second lead at one point over Joshua Banks before pit stops, and let's take us through the entire race and everything that transpired, because you had a lot of pace, long run and short run.
Yeah, I feel like we were pretty good. We definitely were not near as strong as Adam Cabot. I don't think anybody is when we come to Dover here. Qualifying on the pole was, a benefit to us. We had the clean air right out of the gate, and Cabot was still right on our tail. And we were able to keep ahead of him there for, a little bit. But, with as bad as dirty air is and the fact that he was still right there going for the passes, I knew once he got the clean air, he's going to check out. And surely enough, on that restart, he got the lead and he drove away 3 seconds from the field. So really unfortunate for Adam. Obviously, he had that one pretty much covered, if he didn't have those issues. But at least we were in a spot where we could kind of pick up the pieces and take advantage of that. So happy we could do that, especially after missing last week. Took a hit in the points and come out of here with a win at Dover is awesome. We needed a good points day, and we took advantage of Cabot's issues, although super unfortunate and hate it for him.
Yeah, definitely had to take advantage of it, and almost a perfect points day, if not a perfect points day. Just about got every bonus point possible, but obviously couldn't go green to the end. Had a lot of restarts. You had to deal with the 0-9 getting close to you, almost getting your arrow loose, almost getting you off the groove. What was your thought process through all these restarts, just trying to get away from that range where someone can just get you sideways and out of the groove?
Yeah, that was super stressful, and Chad was doing a really good job on the restart. So I was alternating the different lane choices, kind of trying to, keep him, on his toes and keep him guessing, because he was getting pretty good launches. And I think he might've been starting in 2nd gear. I kept starting in 1st gear. I thought that was, giving me a better launch, but it was sketchy. Car was getting a little bit out of control there. And then, getting into the corner, man, on some of those, getting super loose, just hanging on for dear life. So definitely didn't want to see any more restarts than we had. But man, I think anybody leading there towards the end, it's just so tough to make a pass. I think if you make Chad the control car, he probably walks away with it. And fortunate enough for us, we were the control car in all of those restarts. So that definitely helped.
Definitely helped for sure, and you're able to avoid all the chaos that was behind you further back, even some of it in the top 5. But you end up with a victory, once again back in victory lane in this Gen 4 car, which I believe is your 3rd of the season. First one since Auto Club about a month ago. So congrats on that. Anyone else you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, big thanks to you guys up in the booth, the VSPEED, the broadcast team. You guys doing awesome work every single week, and we greatly appreciate it. And then big thanks to all of our sponsors that make this thing happen. M&J Distributors, Clark Print Shop, Walk and Roll Costumes, 29 Graphics, FireStorm Racing, Juicy Spider, everybody that makes this possible. Couldn't do it without them. And we'll take the win. We'll get out of here at Dover. I don't think I've ever won a league race at Dover, and that's mostly because Adam Cabot is in most of the leagues that I run with. So we'll take this one despite all the circumstances, I guess.
Yeah, season 3, you finished 2nd to Joshua Banks, 5th in season 2, and you had a 9th in season 1. But either way, you get their 3rd win of the season, and now the all-time mark's extended to 18 wins all-time in this series. Congrats on that, Jeff. Thanks for talking to us, and we will see you next week.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Jeff Wright, victory lane, 3rd win of the season. And we move down to our 2nd place finisher. It is Chad Klinger in the 0-9. Well, it was 7 days ago I was talking to you from victory lane. Another podium finish here for the 0-9. It looks like things are looking up here in the regular season. This should put you up in the top 20 in points, I think.
Yeah, it feels great. I think we're probably, top 20 now. I think we're top 16 goes to playoffs, so it feels a lot better. Having 2 weeks in a row in a podium finish feels great. The actual competition in SNR is really high, so when you can put a full race together and finish in the top 3, it is a very good day.
Well, looking through this strength of field, it's averaging out somewhere in the high 3,000s. And, You come in here tonight right at that mark on that average. That's one number to talk about, but then you look at the success that some of these guys have been used to racing with each other. Chad, you've been here now for 5 seasons, been talking to you intermittently, but now it feels like things are getting more consistent compared to where they were maybe a few seasons ago.
I would say yes and no. I think I think the luck is turning my way because I'm never a top performing car. Most of the time, I usually have to have strategy to get up there. I kind of drive the car a little either too aggressively or not aggressive enough, where it puts me in mid pack or 10th place and all that. And I think I've just been getting lucky with how things have been going on. Like last week at Pocono, the caution came out. I already pitted. I was still on the lead lap. That put me to the front because everyone else pitted. So that was really good for the win last week. And then this week, kind of the same thing happened. I pitted, and got fresher tires first, and everybody else stayed out. And then the caution came out later, and we all pit again. I was in second. So it just, I think the luck's turning for me.
Well, and speaking of aggression, that first restart we had where you were on 4 fresh ones and Jeff Wright didn't get the best restart. You got him arrow loose. You were putting the pressure on him. Just couldn't get back to him, though, on those other restarts. How difficult was it to get this car rolling into turn 1?
It is really difficult. I know Joseph McCorder and Reggie Ortega, they had an issue on one of the restarts. They say it felt like the car just lost a tire. So I don't know what that was about, but it seems like getting a good restart on the outside was really key for most guys because it was really slick up there. But getting back to Jeff, it was super hard because dirty air is a major part of this car. And when I got behind him, it just plows my car enough to where I can't roll enough to get to his back bumper. So that initial restart and first 2 laps, if I didn't make my move then, it probably wasn't going to happen because Jeff is a very good competitor and he is strong on short and long runs. So it's hard to pass him anyway. So it would have been hard.
Well, you got it, though, and you got this podium finish. You're very, very close to another win. Keep up the consistency, Chad, and go ahead and shout out anybody that comes to mind for this podium.
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody there at VSPEED. You guys put on a very good race. I want to thank all the admins, Jeff, Reggie, myself, and Brian. Doing this every week it's a lot, and it's good to see that we can still keep on doing this. I want to thank our sponsors, Clark Print Shop, Juicy Spider, M&J Distributors with Joshua Banks, Walk and Roll Costumes, and FireStorm Racing. They do a lot for us, and I'd probably like to say that we can't do this without them because it really is a team job, and they really help us out with it. So I want to thank all them. I do want to thank all the drivers that come out every week. Having competition like that every week and driving against them, getting better and better each week. It's very rewarding. So I just kind of want to keep on doing this for as long as we can. And yeah, I guess that should be it.
Yeah, Klinger, appreciate you coming up here in the broadcast booth. We'll see you next week. I believe we're going to Kentucky Speedway.
I believe so. I fear that track because that's not one of my best ones.
I think you'll do fine. It's an intermediate oval, and I know you can perform at those. So we'll see you on the 11th.
All right, see you then. Have a good night.
Chad Klinger, second place finisher here at Dover. And finally, that brings us to Josh Adams in the number 6. Josh, it's been a while. Seems like a sophomore slump for you. We were talking to you about this time last season, and you were one of the drivers contending for this championship. Now, it seems like just a rough start. Maybe this is the one that turns it around.
Yeah, definitely a rough start. I've been looking forward to hearing you guys in my ear in the broadcast booth and not just on my TV for a long time. But it's good to come back to, the track that kind of ended my championship run for all purposes last season and actually get a good finish. So, and my best finish of the season so far yet. So definitely a good feeling.
Started back in 15th, and gaining these spots here tonight, it was few and far between. You get to somebody's inside, you'd stick with him for 2 or 3 laps on the bottom, and then you'd fall back in line. You knew you were faster, you just couldn't go anywhere.
Oh yeah, it's really tough unless the guy on the outside just realizes that you're faster. You can power up on somebody out of 4 and get a really good run, but you can't really do that off of 2. So if you had good position on somebody going into 3, you had a shot. But it was really just kind of a give and take type deal, hoping guys were being nice, and everybody pretty much was around me at least tonight.
Then finally, you touched on it there briefly. This was the track that maybe ended the championship run for you last season, but you were, outside of this top 20 in points. What's it going to take here when we go to Kentucky next week to get it done?
I think I got to talk to you guys again next week. I think I was telling my teammates that, we've ran 6 races and I've had a terrible 6 races, but I'm on the podium in race 7 now. I got to do this 5 more times probably. I think I came in 32nd and gained 6 points or 6 spots in the points unofficially before any penalties or anything. So definitely a great gain.
Josh Adams, 3rd place here tonight at Dover. I know you got High Side Podcast, Juicy Spider Network on the hood. Anybody else you want to shout out while we have you?
Oh yeah, definitely. You guys at VSPEED for putting all this on. Jeff, Chad, everybody at SNR for putting on a good place to race. And like you mentioned, just all my teammates. I was on the box for Hunter when he got on the podium in the Challenger race, and then I backed it up on the podium in this race, and then we got all 3 of our entries tonight in the top 10. So that definitely feels good as a team. And then just everybody that makes our deal go. Donnie wasn't here tonight, my high side partner, but getting good runs for Nick and Hunter was great. And I know Mike was probably watching, so he's probably pretty pumped that we all had good finishes. So hopefully it keeps going.
Keeping the momentum, Josh Adams looking to turn the season around. 3rd place here at Dover. We'll talk to you next week, possibly at Kentucky.
Thank you.
Speaking of next week, we've got more to cover here on VSPEED. That's going to wrap it up here at Dover. Connor, final thoughts before we take him on to the 11th of October.
It was a fun one. I mean, it's kind of what we expect from Dover. You have the high tire wear. We saw tires blow out. We saw drivers not able to handle those tires. We saw pit entry being an issue for a few drivers there, and we saw the guys we always see up at the front again. It's a shame about Cabot's issues with the computer. But he was definitely going to be a threat to win. But after that, it was a Jeff Wright show. I mean, no one could really touch him if there wasn't a restart. And we had a bunch of restarts. We definitely shuffled the order up. The attrition rate skyrocketed, which has kind of been a theme of the season so far. You just can't get away from the late race restarts. But we didn't have a green white checker this week, so I guess that's a positive. But either way, good race. Dover never disappoints. Dirty air was still kind of an issue, but still a pretty fun race. Always a fun track. And Jeff Wright back to his dominant ways tonight, as next week should be pretty fun. Not only we're going Watkins Glen, I believe, for the other series, but also we have Kentucky up on deck for the main Cup series. And Kentucky last season, it was a chaotic finish, so who knows what's going to happen this year.
You can catch that at 7:45 and 10 p.m. Eastern Time, October 11th. You can hit that subscribe button here on VSPEED. You'll never miss a single race. But that's going to do it for our coverage here tonight from Dover. The Monster Mile is complete. It's on to week number 8 for the Saturday Night Racing League Cup Series presented by M&J Distributors. For everybody in the background that makes this happen with Adam Baker and all the things he does, our co-owners Morgan Cook, Eddie Smith, other producers Logan Threlkeld, Alex Gagnon, Lucas Lyons, and for Connor Horn, this is Bradley Cooper saying so long from Dover. We'll see you in 1 week's time when we go to the Glen. Stay tracking, everybody.